Welcome back to the workshop. My name is William Jinks. I'm the owner and founder of Jinks Bladeworks LLC. We're a veteran-owned custom knife making company. And in this episode, you guys will be seeing us take the Tsunobe and forging it out in the Hizukuri stage. The Hizukuri stage is where we take the preform, forge in the bevels, get tapers in, get them all nice and even, clean looking, and we'll be going from there. Very subtle here, but you can see about the 3 inches or whatever. You can see how the tips kind of expanded out just a little bit. Now I'm going to go back in the fire, refine those bevels, get them thinned out even more, and here we go. Throughout the video, you guys see me throwing water on the anvil and letting the hammer face sit in water and get smacked in the steel. That's called Hizukuri. Hizukuri is where we take water and just blast that scale off. Scale is really hard, it's more hard than the steel itself. It's this black stuff that you see going on. But what we do is we blast that stuff off so we can prevent that from getting forged into my blade. It just helps clean that surface in the forging process. So that's the reason for that. As a matter of fact, here is the ceiling that used to be above me. It's all covered in that forged scale. But yeah, that scale got blasted off really nice. So that's the reason for that. When I was a younger maker, I used to think that throwing water on your anvil and putting a hot piece of steel on there was kind of counterintuitive. Why would I, let hot steel sit in a puddle of water? As a matter of fact, the anvil will suck out heat, the hammer will suck out the heat, the air sucks out the heat anyway. It doesn't matter. There is an actual legitimate purpose behind throwing water on your anvil. Alright, here's the Shinobi G. It's just this little back area. This little back bevel I'm working on. So I'm going to be working on the bevel a little bit at a time, probably about 4 or 5 inches in sections. And I'm just trying to smooth and blend out that transition. And I'm just working my way up and down. Going back over. So in the previous two videos, I talked about how, you know, I need to get back in the groove of forging and whatnot. I can tell I'm not good anymore because my technique's all wrong. I feel like I have to muscle it, and that's not good at all. The hammer should, you know, do a lot of the work. Your shoulder should do it, not your wrist, not your elbow. So I'm gonna throw this back in the fire, blend it out some more, and work on the shinogi. The shinogi is the ridge. The shinogi G is the back bevel that I'm forging in right here. Working it section by section, I can definitely see a huge difference between the Tsunobe body and already what I've got beveled going on. I'm starting to imagine this sword already, and it's looking beautiful, but I have a lot of work to do. Alright, so now that I have the bevels forged out, because I use a heavy hammer going over and over again, there is a lot of dings throughout it. So to remove those, I'm going to use my little 2.5 pounder just to smooth out the surfaces. This is now the refining stage of the bevels. I'm going to work my way back from the machi, which is the transition between the nakago and the blade. And I'm going to work all the way back up towards the tip, and then I'm going to flip it around and go work on the nakago or the tang, and then work my way and get that evenly tapered and create a bevel and a central ridge that goes down it. So here we go. This stage I will definitely be using water on both the anvil and the hammer to help blast that scale off for me. Just go through and stack it down. Working our way across the blade. Just gonna smoothing out that surface for me. My steel's turning dark and black. I don't want to hammer hard on it. I'm just working on that surface texture, knocking all around those hammer marks too deep. When it starts going below cherry red, it starts going dark, you gotta lighten up just a little bit. There's a point at which you start ruining your steel and stressing it out too much, so I've got a little bit of work left. I hate tongs. but it's just way too hot to hold my hand. I'm gonna work on that surface, going back and forth, evening it out. Our sword bevels have been rough forged in. To be honest, I'm kind of suspicious about the thickness. I know I nailed the width, but the thickness is actually what's worrying me right now. I guess we'll have to see when I start doing some more work. But now I'm going to flip this over and work on the last part, the tang, then the kago, and we'll go from there. This is a brand new memory card. My last memory card got corrupted, but thankfully I was able to pull most of the footage. First couple of scenes got deleted, and then in the middle of me on that last scene, it got cut off. But basically, after I got it all worked out, I went and thermocycled this 3 times. Just basically I heated the steel up until it was glowing, pulled it out, let it air cool very slowly, and just repeated it, making sure that it was a lower temperature each time and just letting it cool off. So now that it's cold to the touch, you can kind of see, I mean, you can definitely see my bevels forged in. Very rough shape. The thickness is actually a lot closer to what I was actually looking for than I thought. Originally I thought that this was actually going to be too thin, but surprisingly it came out really well. Also, the width on it, extra large, but that's okay. I mean, this is my first one, but I still would like to get as close to traditional as possible, like I said earlier. The next step you guys will be seeing is called Ara Shiage. With this step, we're going to be taking this rough sword shape and refining it. We're going to be getting straight lines across, getting a nice even taper, more refined. We'll be cleaning up the bevels. There will be a little bit of the grinder being used, but other than that, we'll actually be using a file to remove a lot of this material. Overall, the length on this is just barely over 36 inches, about 9 inches for the handle. I do have to cut a little bit off. So this will be fun. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, so if you like this project and want to continue seeing more, you guys can be notified of those. And we'll definitely catch you guys on the next one. So take care and goodbye.